Hey everybody, welcome to today's show with myself. So I'm Hao Tran, I'm the CEO of Vietcetera Media, a media company based here in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. We're really happy today to be welcoming one of our very special guests. His name is CZ, Changpeng Zhao. He's the CEO of Binance, one of the world's most leading thought leaders of blockchain, cryptocurrency. A lot of people are getting into the space and trying to understand it better. So we're super lucky to have him here today, taking time to tell our readers around the world, but also in Vietnam, of course, about what Binance's plans are for this exciting market and just some commentary about what his feelings are about the industry and the market as a whole. So CZ, again, big thanks for making it on the show here today.
Oh, thanks for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great. So for those of you that don't know, CZ is based in Singapore at the moment. We're here in Ho Chi Minh City, so he's calling in. We're not in the same space today. We have a set of questions that we're going to be asking him. He's kind of seen some of these questions in advance already, so he has an idea. I'm sure he has millions of interviews already, but we're really focused here today about getting those insights about Vietnam, what Binance and CZ and his team are thinking about this market. So let's get straight to it. So CZ, the first question what we have here today is really understanding and kind of sharing to our audience and the Vietnam market, what is Binance? Like, what do you guys offer exactly? Because from what we understand, it's not just an exchange. Can you share what those number of products are and, if possible, specifically how they're localized for Vietnamese users?
Sure. So Binance, most people think of us as an exchange. We are a major cryptocurrency exchange, but we actually do a lot more. So the way I like to describe it is we want to provide access to crypto. So on the exchange side is really access to crypto liquidity. So whether you're trading spot, crypto to cryptos, or fiat to crypto, so if you want to buy cryptocurrency with Vietnamese dong, you can do it directly on the Binance platform. We have P2P trading support for Vietnam. And if you want to trade other spot, other more leveraged products, margin futures, if you're an advanced trader, we provide access to that too. There's a second part of it what I call provide access to information about crypto. So if you want to learn about crypto, we have a number of products in that space. We have Binance Academy, which is an educational content site. We have Binance Info, Binance Research, and we also acquired CMC. And for most of our products, we are localizing into the Vietnamese language. So for our core exchange products, if you download our app, it is available in Vietnamese. So we are really localizing for our products for each market. We also have a number of other things. We have a Trust Wallet, which is a decentralized, you hold your own key type of wallet. We have Binance Labs for investments. We have Launchpad to help projects raise funds. And hopefully we can help some of the Vietnamese projects to do that as well. And we also have Binance Charity. So we have a lot of other ecosystem players through acquisitions or mergers. But fundamentally, we want here to provide access to crypto. So whenever you want to buy or have access to crypto, Binance typically will have a product that can service you.
That's great to hear. So you guys, sounds like you're not only in the space of providing access and trading tools, but you're also educating the market, it seems like. How important is that whole education space? Because in Vietnam, there's a lot of people wondering, like, what is crypto? Vietnam's a very, for example, popular market for gold. People love buying gold here. Education, let's talk about that more specifically. You mentioned like Binance Academy. How is the adoption for that in Vietnam? Are you seeing a lot of interest and desire to learn more about cryptocurrency aside from just like a store of value or what the typical kind of Vietnamese consumer might perceive it as?
Yes, absolutely. So I think more than 40% of our users want to learn on our platform. So
is that in more Vietnam than 40%, or globally?
I think that's global, but I think in Vietnam it should be similar. We do have Binance Academy content in Vietnamese. So I guess especially now, a lot of the users are coming into the space for the first time, and they want to learn more about different concepts in cryptocurrencies, blockchain, 51% attacks, consensus, a lot of this technical jargon. or more popular trendy topics like DeFi, what's AMM, etc. So we provide educational content for all of those topics. So we do find 40% or more of our users actually actively use the educational content. So it represents a fairly significant share of our user base. So it is very important.
And you mentioned, of course, Binance is being a global company, and you're beginning to localize in Vietnam. From what I've been hearing, Vietnam is a huge market for everything crypto blockchain. How high is it up there in terms of priority? Is it like really high? Is it in the middle? Is it kind of low priority? Where does it sit when it comes to education and access of tools?
Yeah, I think Vietnam is definitely one of our top 10 priorities. So of all the countries in the world, Vietnam is definitely one of the top 10. So this is why our app is available in 16 languages, and Vietnamese is probably like the 6th or 7th languages we added. So there's a very active community in Vietnam. And we also hosted, I think, 6 meetups last year in Vietnam. I was going to travel to Vietnam earlier this year for a conference, but the COVID-19 kind of postponed it.
Sure.
So we do try to do a lot of events in Vietnam, trying to engage with our users in Vietnam. We also have a number of Vietnamese-speaking native speakers on our team that can service the Vietnamese-speaking users. So on the scale of things, I think Vietnamese community is definitely up there for any crypto business.
Exceptional. So let me share that again with the readers in case they didn't hear that. Binance has 16 languages. I'm sure more on the way, but 16 languages currently localized across its products. And Vietnam was like the 6th or 7th to be in line to receive localization. So that's pretty exceptional. That's really great to hear. And you mentioned also that you had a series of meetups here in Ho Chi Minh City, and you were supposed to be here for one of them. Have you been to Vietnam before? What's your travel history?
I've only traveled once into Vietnam before, so that was more like a decade ago, just for vacations. So I was gonna go in January and then again in March for the conference. So I actually planned 2 trips, but both trips got delayed for now. So hopefully, as soon as COVID is over, I'll make my way over there and meet some of our users or some of our community.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we hope Vietnam is one of your first places you'll be able to hop over to once this travel bans are over. So it's great to hear. Absolutely. At these meetups, you mentioned that there's 6 or however many of them. What's the turnout like? What kind of people show up to these things, and how many of them are showing up?
It usually ranges from like 50 people to like 500 people-ish. Some of the bigger ones go up to some of the bigger ones go up to 1,000 or more people. So it's really just a chance for some of our community members to meet with each other, meet with us, ask us questions in person, and just have some interactions with our team, our volunteers, the Binance Angels. So it's really just more of a way for people to just interact more in person. So this way they kind of get a sense of what we are about, who we are, what kind of products we offer. We will be around to answer any questions they may have, etc. So we do find that even though online things work, we can do video conferencing, etc. The physical contact element is still quite important. We are human beings after all. So I think Vietnam is probably one of the most active meetup organizers in terms of number of meetups we have organized.
And those meetups, are they like formal, as in they're organized by your team, or is it kind of community driven, or a little bit of both?
It's mostly community driven. So we typically have mostly Binance Angels. They are community volunteers doing the bulk of the work. So they organize everything. They get a place. We pay for the rental of the event facilities or the place. We usually sponsor a little bit of food. But it's mostly organized by our angels. We typically have a few of our marketing teams people involved as well, but I would say 80% is probably just community driven. So it's just a great chance for people to get together, talk about different things, learn about what other people in the industry are like, some who are our other users. So typically, it's just typically it's a fairly casual event. Sometimes there will be a couple speeches, a couple product demos, etc. But mostly it's relatively relaxed and casual.
Got it. Well, it's great to hear. That's one of the bigger kind of community-driven events, I would say, for a fairly niche, but hopefully mainstream in the future kind of industry. That's great. Yeah. So anyways, we'll move along in the questions here. The second one that we have, representative of who these users are. So the question's pretty simple. I mean, what are some noteworthy traits that you're observing about your users here in Vietnam, like in the community? What's something that kind of like gets your light bulb in your head, like, wow, this is like something that we need to watch here in Vietnam?
I think typically most of our users are younger generations, and typically like somewhere between 20 to 45-ish age range, and they are usually at this current stage, most of them are early adopters. They are kind of keen to try new things. So that's kind of the general demographic in crypto. There is a heavier skew towards male. There's a bit less female in percentage-wise from the user perspective. So it is a sort of a more male-driven community. But we do see females increasing in the last couple of years fairly dramatically. So that's always a very good sign. And so it's typically people who are interested in learning about new forms of money, new forms of technologies, how to protect their own wealth from inflations, etc. So and how to use a new form of assets to transfer value all around the world. And there's also a lot of innovations around the blockchain space. Vietnam actually has a very active developer ecosystem. So there's a lot of good software developers, and those guys are very keen in developing new apps using blockchain, new wallets, new payment infrastructures. So we see a combination of all of those things. So it's a pretty vibrant, technology-driven, early adopter mentality kind of a crowd.
Well, would you say on the horizon that there's a future larger Binance team here in Vietnam with all those kind of ecosystem kind of signs at play already?
Sure. I think we are actively hiring Vietnamese-speaking team members into Binance. So basically, we want to make our products more localized to fit the Vietnamese-speaking community. So we do want to expand our team of almost every role, from marketing to customer support to community managers to developers, because we want to have really localized products that fits the user. The Vietnam's user experience. So we are hiring in all of those fronts. So if anybody is interested, please do apply. And we actually have special rules for Vietnamese-speaking team members.
That's great. It's a vibrant talent market, and a lot of those people kind of fit that demographic. You mentioned kind of younger people, very curious about how to save and invest money. So hopefully after this podcast, you guys will see more applications coming in.
Absolutely.
Moving on to the next question. You touched upon these meetups and potentially hiring people and the continued localization efforts. Can you share a little bit more about specific activities that we can expect to see in Vietnam? Hopefully some of us too, don't want to wait until the borders are open and then finally you come. Is there anything maybe noteworthy that we can see while we wait for that special moment when you come back to Vietnam?
Nothing too specific on top of my mind. I actually don't know all of our plans. I'm a little bit far removed from the day-to-day operations of Binance already. So, but I do know that we are pushing P2P trading in Vietnam quite aggressively, and it's working out quite well. I think the user experience is quite good. So if you have Vietnamese dong that you want to convert into crypto or vice versa, it's quite easy to do it through the Binance platform. We don't rely on any central bank or any one bank, but it's all P2P driven. With the DeFi being pretty hot right now, we're pushing a lot of the DeFi projects, etc. So we're helping that sector grow, and we are looking into setting up Vietnamese-speaking customer support centers. So hopefully we can provide direct customer support in Vietnamese. So there's some of those, a lot of all of those things are in progress. So hopefully we'll just be able. I really hope we will be able to provide a very localized product for the Vietnam community.
Excellent. That's great to hear, and I'm sure a lot of existing users, but even potentially new community members, are excited to hear about that. Moving further down the list here, we've got a few more questions here. When expanding, and this is more about a global thing, people are very curious about Binance's strategy. People will be saying, Vietnam has great signs, so that's why you're here. What are those signs? When expanding and doubling down on markets, what are some positive signals that your team looks for when making those decisions? Like, how can we become the 17th country or 17th language on the Binance platform?
I think we already support Vietnamese. So I think
aside from Vietnamese, but I guess more globally. Yeah.
Globally, okay, sure. So I think it's really a number of users and the community. So we typically do things just based on feedback from our users. So if we get a lot of requests from users to do one thing, we'll just prioritize and do it. So of course, there's a lot of users asking for a lot of different things. So we have to prioritize a little bit. We aren't able to service every need. But we typically try to listen to our users and try to discern which are the sort of high demand needs. And so for different markets, so we don't really have a master plan or like top down strategy. Everything's very relatively dynamic and loose. So it looks kind of a very ad hoc, chaotic kind of organization. So if you ask me what's our plan for the next 2 years, we don't have one. Our plan typically go max for 3 months or less.
Right.
So the market changes very, very quickly, and we just have to adapt our plans to it. So that's pretty much. We don't really have a lot of long-term planning.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, that's understandable. You guys are a rapidly growing organization. And not only the company is changing, but also the industry. It's unpredictable at this point. It's great to hear. Okay, so moving along to, I think we got in touch with you because of not only your PR team, but also one of your country managers, I believe, for Southeast Asia or Vietnam. Her name's Lin Huang. And again, you're not day to day, so you don't know exactly what's going on, but what are some key milestones and goals for Binance in Vietnam? Why was it that sixth market? And once you made that decision to localize in Vietnamese, like, what is Binance a year from now, 5 years from now? What is that goal that you're constantly striving for?
I think our goal is really just to increase the market share for the crypto industry. So anything we can do to bring more people into the crypto industry, I think that we want to do. I think right now, if you look at around the world, I don't know, there's probably less than 200 million people who have crypto. So it's probably less than 0.2%. So what if we grow that number to 2% or 20%? So we can grow the space by 200x or 100x. And what if we grow that to 80% of the population? So I think those are the things that we want to help achieve in the longer future. So we typically look at different products, different strategies, or any tasks that we do. Is it going to increase the market share for crypto? So is it going to bring more people in? Is it going to educate more people? Is it going to give people more access to crypto? So those are typically the things that we, at a very high level general direction. In each market, when it comes down to specific markets, they typically involve different things. Some markets don't have fiat access or don't have very good fiat access. Then we want to provide that. For example, in Vietnam, like most of the banks are still not openly working with cryptocurrency exchanges. Hopefully, the regulations will change, and so hopefully in a few years we can find a way to have direct bank deposits for cryptocurrency exchanges. If we have to talk with regulators to try to push things along, if the regulators are willing to talk to us, then we're open to do that as well. And in other markets, it's really like, okay, can we provide what tokens are classified as securities and why? Can we broaden the scope? In more advanced markets, we provide more advanced financial products like options, leverage, etc. So we typically try to find what in each local market, what's the best thing we can do to increase crypto adoption. So I actually do think Vietnam has a pretty good, very active community compared to the rest of the world. I would say it's probably one of the top countries, and that's also why it's one of the top priorities for us to provide as much of a localized product as possible.
What would you say as a percentage of a population? So Vietnam is about almost nearly 100 million people. Like, what is success in terms of percentage of users? Like, do you want 0.5%, 0.1% of the population using Binance? I'm just curious, what is that to you in terms of a goal and milestone?
I think the eventual goal should be 80%, right? So 80% of the population should ideally use some kind of product that Binance offers.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about the internet, most people probably use Google for their search. And in the countries where Google is allowed, it's probably close to 90-something%. So even if you don't use Google for search engine, you probably do use Google Maps or some other Google Hangout or some other or Gmail or some other product that they provide. So Binance, we really want to be able to provide a few different infrastructure services in the crypto space. So be it access to liquidity or wallets holding your crypto or some other service. So we generally, I think the end goal is definitely going to be should be 80% of the people will use Binance in some way. They may not be active traders. They could just use Trust Wallet or they could just use something else that we provide. But I think the ultimate goal is to be able to provide a few of the key infrastructure services so that most people will use at least one of our services.
So you mentioned 80%, which is massive, and a very inspiring goal as well. I see that vision hopefully happening in the near future, sooner than later. Of those 80%, hypothetically, what do you see as like the number one product? Is it Binance Academy? Is it the wallet, the trading, like at a global level, but even Vietnam? Would you be able to share that?
I think eventually you'll have to be the wallet. Like today, most people use a browser, right? But I would say probably like almost all the internet population use a browser. So I think the wallet is really the sort of the browser of the internet for in blockchain. So I think not everybody will have to actively trade, and many wallets will have a simple convert feature for people who just want to convert some money from one coin to another. Those guys are not active traders. So I think the exchange is really eventually will only be targeted for active traders, just like the stock market. Not everybody trades stock actively. Quite a lot of people just hold a couple of stock, and some people don't even hold stocks. Whereas the wallet, I think people will eventually use on a day-to-day basis. So I think a few of the clear use cases have not been materialized, like payments, remittances, and also even like some of the more advanced, more sort of a slightly longer term features like social media on a blockchain, ride hailing on car services on blockchain. So a lot of those stuff will be, I think eventually we will have decentralized applications that are easy to use and will have adoption. But to be able to use all of those things, you need a wallet. So many people use Binance the exchange as a wallet today already. So we have a lot of non-traders who just put their funds onto Binance because they actually prefer using a centralized exchange because they're more comfortable using an email password, and if they forget it, they can have a way to reset it. So I think a lot of users use Binance as a wallet already, and hopefully in the future we'll be able to continue to provide that service. And plus, we also have a few decentralized wallet solutions that we're pushing.
That's great to hear.
Yeah, I think in the future the wallet is going to be the main. The wallet should be the ubiquitous service that people don't really think about a browser when they use a browser; they just use it. So I think I'm pretty sure you will get there. Give it a few years.
Okay. And in Vietnam, you mentioned that you want to be the wallet is like the most active service in the market today. I'm not too familiar actually. Maybe potentially you aren't as well. But is Binance the leading wallet provider or just foundation in Vietnam in terms of of that?
I think, okay, so today Binance has the largest active user base. Many of them do use us as a wallet, but I'm not sure if, but I think our more active users are still the active traders. So sometimes the line is a little bit blurry. A guy who trades like a few times a day and then also deposits and withdraws very frequently, is he using us as a wallet or not? It's kind of hard to tell. Whereas I think in terms of crypto, also in terms of decentralized wallets, like non-custodian wallets, Trust Wallet is up there. But I think the wallet space right now, the space is so new that there's no single dominant player. So I think we're still fairly early in the industry. Most people today, if you use the wallet, is not as popular because there's a lot of other applications that use cases that has not been popular yet, like payments, right? So most shops, don't accept crypto for payments just yet. So I think e-commerce, retail commerce, all of those things have to improve for crypto, for wallets to really sort of be the sort of dominant for the key sort of main application. So I think that's going to take a couple of years. But today, I think combined, if we combine all of our services from Binance, like the exchange, the wallets, Academy, info, we probably do have one of the largest active user bases in crypto.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I tell a lot of people that are kind of on the periphery of looking into Vietnam. So for you, if you didn't know CZ, and hopefully some of the readers here, Vietcetera, it's a bilingual media company. We're Vietnamese and in English, but the Vietnamese is significantly larger. It's about 95% of our readers, Vietnamese reading Vietnamese content. And the English readers are, your team sitting abroad, your team sitting in Vietnam, yourself, hopefully, myself included. And we're really about being a bridge between Vietnam and the world. So we want to bring Vietnam to the world in our English content and the world to Vietnam. And vice versa. And I tell a lot of people like you that are investing in your team and investing in Vietnam that it's a bit of a land grab in the sense that, not a negative connotation, but more like a lot of things haven't been done here yet. Or if they have, they've been done very badly. And we're seeing that gap kind of close a little bit in terms of access and establishing market dominance, because these evergreen kind of spaces, not evergreen, but kind of open spaces that haven't really been explored yet, there's only a couple of players. So I think for the readers and for even you, CZ, to know, I wanted to ask to see like what your thoughts on it were, and I echo those thoughts. This space is very green at the moment, and it's great to see players like Binance, again, one of the global leaders in the space, really looking at Vietnam. It's one of the top markets for them and active users, but also hopefully in the future as a commercial market. So, good luck to you guys, and hopefully we see continued growth. And good luck and good fortune for you here in Vietnam. And hopefully our readers out there also see the excitement and energy in the space provided by your team. So again, before we end today too, I always like to ask, I'm always the one asking questions. And again, our goal is to become this hub for Vietnam, to show people what we know that we feel like people should know about this place. Do you have a question for us potentially about, if you want to know anything about Vietnam, that hopefully us or even our readers can hopefully answer for you? Do you have one or two on top of your head?
Yeah, my question is always like from your perspective, from your personal or like a group perspective, what do you want to see Binance offering in Vietnam?
I think here the trading aspect is so ubiquitous, especially among the active people. They kind of, that's their bread and butter. Even perhaps the wallet, but I think just education. I think Vietnamese are very curious people, very curious, and they're always looking for new things. They're first adopters. They're excited to try new things, and I think going back to my point earlier, it's a green kind of space. It's a land grab. So if you guys can really execute over the next coming months, even not just years, but establishing that thought leadership, it's a space that nobody else is doing at the moment. And if you guys can do that, I guess your share will be kind of solidified at the top early, and you can hopefully keep that up. That would be my kind of 2 cents on that comment.
Okay, that's very much that's very much appreciated. I guess we'll just have to localize Binance Academy a lot more aggressively. I think it's already in Vietnamese, but I'm not sure if all the content is in Vietnamese. And also CoinMarketCap, we're looking to localize that as well. So hopefully we can localize that into Vietnamese as well. So we will be able to provide a more localized service.
Yeah, and not just localization, but reaching those new people. Because this is a global thing at this point, but in Vietnam especially, where content consumption online is so massive on social networks, especially, getting that share of voice now is more than ever. It's your cost of acquisition is going to be a lot lower, basically. Whereas in the West and in these more saturated markets, it's a bit more tough. So great to hear that. Again, CZ and your team, thanks for joining us today. It's been a pleasure. I know you're a very busy person, and Vietnam is a small piece of the pie, but hopefully bigger to come. We're super happy to do this exclusive. It's a big piece. It's a very big piece of a very big pie. We're excited to do this exclusive feature with Binance and CZ today. We'll be sharing these and hopefully more with not only Binance and more exclusives to come in this space. So again, this is Hao Tran reporting from Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, and Vietcetera Media. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Hao. Thank you for having me. Cheers.
Cheers, CZ.